If you start looking at Palantir objectively and not subjectively, I think a couple of factors will come to mind every time you analyze and review Palantir. For me, a couple of key factors always keep coming up, especially this is evident in the last 3 months or so. I want to talk about 3 of those factors today. The first factor is going to be supply chain management and supply chain maintenance. The second factor that I want to talk about is Palantir's inherent ability to utilize and capitalize off of their government contracts in a certain field and be able to piggyback off of that and be able to get a similar contract within the same scope, within the same field in the commercial sector. And finally, the third factor of Palantir that's been evident over the last year or so is Palantir starts with a small contract within a specific department, and this is for both domestically, abroad, commercial, and government. And they're able to expand on that contract, whether they take an existing contract and just extend it, or whether they get an additional contract for maybe something else within the same exact department. Now, if the topics that I just spoke about and the factors of Palantir that I just mentioned a few moments ago hit home, and you were thinking the same thing when you think about Palantir, when you started analyzing Palantir, and when you really dig deep on Palantir on an objective level over the last few months, then I think that you should definitely stick around, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video, because in this video, I'm going to utilize a recent contract extension or contract expansion with the FDA, which stands for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Now, before I start, do me a favor, go in the comments down below and let me know if me and you are on the same page with the way that we think and analyze Palantir. And if we're not, let me know in the comments down below as well, because I like to read your thoughts and I like to read your comments to try to analyze my own position. And while you're down there, it's just going to take an extra 2 seconds. Do me a favor and hit the like, share, subscribe so you show me some love and YouTube knows that I'm not absolutely trash at my job. With that said, let's move straight into the video. Just today, Palantir was able to extend their contract with the FDA. Today's contract extension was worth $22 million. Now, I'm not sure if it's fair to say today had an FDA contract extension as opposed to an FDA contract expansion, because the contract is still within the department of the FDA. However, it's for a totally different thing than their existing contract that they signed up in 2020. You see, for today, they won a contract with a specific sub-department of the FDA. This sub-department or this program, whatever you want to call it, is called 21 Forward Initiative. And today's contract was to modernize the FDA's approach to food supply chain and resilience through this 21 Forward Initiative. If you're curious what the 21 Forward Initiative is, just read the screen. 21 Forward, part of the FDA's new era of smarter food safety blueprint, brings together multiple data sources from federal government agencies, including the United States Department of Agriculture and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, to identify areas of food supply chain where there will likely be disruptions. This is a pretty remarkable if you think about it, and this is what Palantir had to say about it. This is a quote from Dr. William Kessler. He's the chief medical officer up from Palantir. And he says, now more than ever, public health preparedness is central to the security and safety as a nation, and we are honored to support our leading institutions with the best-in-class technology to anticipate and plan for these events. By leveraging our technology, the FDA is investing in the foundational data-driven approach to improve outcomes for our country. Now, what's mostly interesting here and what absolutely mind-blowing if you really pay attention and dissect Palantir is, on numerous occasions, we see Palantir able to get a specific contract and then they either extend on that contract, expand on that contract, or get an additional contract within the same organization but a different department or sub-department. In some way, shape, or form, Palantir is super sticky icky, and once you use Dr. Alex Karp, you're never gonna go dark. And this absolutely applies in both government, commercial, abroad, and domestically. And if you wanna get an example of this, just look to the Hyundai Heavy Industries. We started with a $25 million contract and we just banged out an extension for $20 million more dollars. And this happened around 6 weeks ago. It's pretty remarkable. Now, this is just one example. If you go back for the last 6 weeks or so, we locked up over $800 million worth of contracts, and you're gonna see prime examples of exactly what I'm talking about, where we start a contract and then we extend on that same exact specific contract. And it's very important to see and understand that Palantir is able to use government contracts to jumpstart a similar type of work within the commercial field. And look no further than the NIH and the NHS contracts. This is basically the Health Organization of the United States and the Health Organization of the UK. We help them with numerous different things. Also, of course, COVID-19, PPP, vaccines, so on and so forth. And just last month, we signed up a partnership and deal with a company called Concordance. And Concordance is one of the largest healthcare distributors within the United States. So there you go. You see the same exact example. We start with a small contract. We extend that small contract. We start with a government contract. We then expand on that type of work within the commercial sector. Palantir is always expanding, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. Palantir is super sticky icky. Once you use Palantir, it's very hard for you to change, and you just keep going and going and going because Palantir is a toolbox for toolboxes, so to speak. Now, coincidentally, the partnership with Concordance is actually for supply chain management. You see where I'm going with this? Can you please connect the dots and you see how Palantir keeps expanding? Now you understand what I was saying earlier in this video, that there's always 3 factors that I keep seeing over and over and over again. Now, this is not the only thing that Palantir does. However, it's becoming ever clear and ever evident when you are analyzing Palantir that this is always a revolving door. Start small, expand. Start government, expand to commercial, so on and so forth. Speaking about supply chains, this is the website for Palantir Supply Chain Solutions. On the top right-hand side, you could see it says mitigate supply chain distributions with the next generation supply chain management software. If you go just a little bit lower, they're going to break down a couple of things. Number 1, supply chain planning. Number 2, supply chain digital transformation. Number 3, supply chain risk management. Number 4, supply chain sustainability. And finally, supply chain analytics. Now, for everything that I read earlier in this video and everything that I spoke about earlier in this video, it's clear to see that we are really at the beginning growth stage of Palantir. We're literally right here and we still got to go a long way up, or as we say, to the freaking moon. It's evident to see Palantir is sticky icky as F. Guys, if you agree with what I gotta say, do me a favor. I got a banger barn burner video coming out about Palantir next week. In the meantime, hit the like and notification button down below so that you're going to be aware of every single video drop that comes out. However, if you want more Palantir information and you want more Palantir content before that next video comes out, do yourself a favor and click on one of these videos. I got an entire playlist dedicated to Palantir content. Before I do close out this video, I wanted to tell you thank you very much, each and every one of you. Without you, I couldn't do this. Have a great day.